Polish priest who was stripped of his post after admitted being in a gay relationship has accused Vatican insiders of scheming against the Pope and making life hell for millions of gay Catholics around the world. Krzysztof Kaamsa is, in his resignation letter, criticised what he called the Vatican's hypocrisy in banning gay priests. Well, we're going to discuss this now. I'm joined by Fiona Mansford in the studio, a Catholic youth worker and also from Catholic Voices. And also we're joined by Francis de Bernardo, director of the New Ways Ministry, which is a group for lesbians, gays and transgender Catholics. And I'm going to start with you, Francis, because you've just returned from Rome, haven't you? You were following the Synod of Bishops there, discussing Catholicism and the family. Did you hear what you wanted to hear?
Well, we didn't hear the best message that we could have, but we are happy that there seems to be some progress among the bishops on lesbian gay issues. We feel that the Synod revealed a wing in the Catholic Church of bishops who want better ministry and better discussion with lesbian gay people.
What would have been the right message, Francis?
Well, the right message would have been something much more positive than they stated. They stated something rather neutral, but a more positive message would have been more welcome.
Okay, well, let's cut to the chase with Fiona. Fiona, what a lot of gay and lesbian and transgender Catholics would like to see is them being embraced, welcomed, perhaps allowed to marry, or even become priests and nuns in the Catholic Church. Is that ever going to happen?
The mission of the Catholic Church is to welcome everybody, regardless of their gender, regardless of their sexuality. The mission of the Catholic Church really is to communicate the love of God unconditionally. However, you know, obviously the Catholic Church has teachings that it upholds, and again this synod, I think what's happened in the synod really is that there's, you know, the Church is saying we have to listen. There are people who feel excluded, and that shouldn't be the case. There are people who feel that they're not valued, perhaps, and the truth is they are valued, very much so. And so Pope Francis has called this synod to talk about issues that matter to people, such as, you know, Catholics who are gay, lesbian, transgender. But at the same time, he's got this difficult task of listening and caring and inviting Catholics to reach out to those who feel unwelcomed, and at the same time upholding, you know, the teaching of the Church, which I think we've seen from the synod is unlikely to change in its core, but how we communicate that, perhaps there is some scope for change there.
Francis, is life hell for gay Catholics and lesbian Catholics? Is it difficult being a Catholic and being gay?
Well, I think that for some people, yes, it is, but for the majority of Catholics who are gay and lesbian that I meet have made their peace with the Church and have found ways of living authentically as a gay or lesbian person and also as a Catholic. So,
how do you do that, though? I mean, surely they must feel ostracised to a huge degree when their sexuality is condemned and they're not allowed to marry, and they certainly can't be active within the Catholic Church itself. How do they do that? Why don't they just walk away and go to another church?
I think that they have resolved this in their conscience, that they have heard in their inner soul that they have heard the voice of God telling them that they are good and they are blessed.
Right, so they do a deal with God and ignore the teachings of the Catholic Church?
They've considered the teachings of the Catholic Church, and they have found that they do not reflect their experience of God and their experience of their relationship.
Okay,
so,
Francis, just hold it there, because that can't be good news for the Catholic Church. If people are choosing what they want to agree with the Catholic Church, but not the rest of it, and then the rest of it is between them and the God that they believe in.
Sure.
It's not healthy.
In my understanding of being Catholic, that's a challenging and actually a painful way to live, I think, as we've seen with the priest, Father Karamza. You know, he was living one way and professing to a faith, and actually I think that's led to a lot of difficulty for him.
Fiona, would he have lost his job if he wasn't actively in a relationship? By announcing that he was gay, would he have remained
It's
a
not,
priest?
I mean, everybody is called to loving relationships. This isn't about loving relationships. Everybody is called to that. But to kind of, I think there's a confusion with sexual, you know, we say that a loving relationship has to be a sexual relationship. It doesn't have to be. You can be a very deeply loving person not being in sexual relationships.
Okay.
I think...
Sounds like there's a lot of grey areas as well, and a lot more discussion to be had in Rome. But Fiona, we've got to leave it there. Fiona Mansford from Catholic Voices. Also, thank you to Francis de Bernardo as well from the New Ways Ministry. Thank you for your time.